Hello friends, welcome back to the predictive analytics tutorial using health insurance dataset. So far we have discussed on how to connect to a Kaggle website, how to download the dataset and read the dataset into a data frame using pandas library, perform data cleaning activities and exploratory data analysis to establish a hypothesis. The link to the previous tutorials are given in the description below. Please watch them before going through this one. Today we'll have a look at the model building section. Please note that when dealing with real-time projects, we do not have only one best particular model that is predetermined and can be used to model the dataset. We have to try and test out multiple models to choose the best one within the business and technical constraints. In this tutorial, we'll try 3 different models and check the results. Before even jumping to model building stage, we have to pre-process the data to make it fit to input into the model. One such pre-processing is to convert the categorical variables into dummies, that is in the form of zeros and ones. Here we will be using one-hot encoding technique. Many machine learning algorithms cannot operate on labeled data directly. They require the input variables to be numeric, that is categorical data must be converted into the numerical form. In one-hot encoding, new binary variables are introduced for each of the integer value representing a category. Here we see that there are 5 categorical variables and the unique values are displayed. We will be making use of getDummy functions from pandas package to convert the categorical variables into dummy variables, which is again shown in this coding section. Now let's proceed with building the base model. In this example, we are aiming to predict the charges of the health insurance premium given the inputs. We have chosen a basic linear regression model as a base model. Let's define the value of x, that is, the dataset containing all the columns except charges. Y will be the column charges in this dataset. We will use train test split to split the dataset into two that contains 70% of dataset as a training data and 30% of dataset as a test data. We will be using OLS, that is ordinary least square method, to model our data. Once our train data has been modeled, we can see the summary of the results below. We see the accuracy of our model is approximately 74%. And below this, we have a list which specify the p-values for each of the independent variables. This p-value represents the significance of this independent variable over the dependent variable. The lower the p-value, more significant is our variable. This is not our final model. We need to optimize the model by removing the insignificant variables. The insignificant variables, as we discussed, is determined by the high p-values. Before deciding the variables to be dropped, we need to find the correlation between the independent variables. We should ensure that there is no correlation between the variables, or else it will start affecting our result. Correlation can be found out by using VIF, or variance inflation factor. We see that the VIF of the variables are quite high. Now let's go back to the summary to check the variable which is having the most p-value. Here we see that children1 is one such variable. Let's drop children1 in the next iteration and redevelop our model. On redeveloping our model, after dropping the variable children1, we see that there is no significant increase in the accuracy of the model. However, the VIF factor has decreased for most of the variables. We'll continue this process a lot more times in order to come to a conclusion or a conclusive model where the p-values of the remaining variable will be less than 0.05 of the significance factor and the VIF should also be less than 5. In this example, we have undergone 6 to 7 iterations to come to optimized one. Let's scroll down to see the final model. This is our final model which has 7 significant variables, and the VIA factor is also considerably less for each of the variables. This model has 74% accuracy, which is shown by R square and adjusted R square here. After building the base model, let's jump to developing a decision tree regressor on the same dataset. Decision tree regressor is a more advanced algorithm that is in the form of a tree structure and builds the result based on conditional statements. We'll discuss on the fundamentals of the decision tree in another tutorial. Let's quickly check the result this model gives us. The accuracy on a training dataset is 85.8% and that on the test dataset is 85.4%. We see that there is a considerable or a significant amount of increase in accuracy of this model over the base model. Decision tree regressor, however, makes use of many hyperparameters that needs to be tuned to get more satisfactory results. In this example, I have hard-coded the values of few hyperparameters. The ones that I have not mentioned here have already taken default values. We can also tune the values of hyperparameters by using Grid Search CV. In Grid Search CV, we provide a list of values for each of the variable or each of the hyperparameter and let our model run. The result of this model gives us the best values of hyperparameters along with the accuracy that the model is giving by using this best values. After using a decision tree regressor, let's try to build gradient boosting on the same dataset. From the ensemble library, we can make use of gradient boosting regressor. We'll try to find out the optimal value of learning rate and N estimator using Grid Search CV in the first place. We see that this model is able to give us accuracy of 84.2% with a learning rate of 0.015 and number of estimators as 250. Let's now try to tune maximum depth, minimum sample split and minimum sample leaf using the same Grid Search CV method. We see that the accuracy has improved slightly and these are the optimal values. For all the combination of the best values of hyperparameter that we use, we can see that the final model is giving us accuracy of 87.8% on the training dataset and 88% on the test dataset. We can also visualize the important features or the significant variables that affect our end results, that is charges. Here we see that the most determining factor of premium charges seems to be if the person is a smoker or non-smoker, followed by the number of children that they have and the body mass index. As a conclusion, after comparing all the three models, we have decided to go ahead with the gradient boosting regressor. We finally save the model in the form of a pickle file. This becomes a black box to our model and can easily be exported. We can pass the unseen dataset to the loaded pickle file and get the predicted value. So friends, this is the end of this tutorial. If you related to this dataset and the whole process of building a predictive model, please like this video, share it with your friends and subscribe to our channel. Also, let us know in the comment section below if you want more tutorials on specific data science topics and we will make them for you. Till we meet again, goodbye and happy learning.